Hi, my name is Connor Statler, and I started coming to GraceWay in June of 2020. So I actually am from Pennsylvania, and I moved here to Louisiana in 2019. I had met Ricky, Pastor Rick, and Miss Judy's daughter through a friend, and she told me, well, why don't I come to her dad's church? So that's what I did. As soon as I walked in, her dad gave me a hug, and her mom gave me a hug and said, "You must be Connor," and that's just how it's been ever since. It's like I grew up in what was called Brethren, and it's not a denomination that's here in the South, but it's very similar to Methodist. It's kind of like the old-fashioned, like you get up, you sing a song from 1750, and then you take the offering, you sit down, and you listen to a sermon, and that was it. Probably one of the first things I noticed was like humble people, very caring people. I could tell that they were interested who I was, where I came from, why I was here type thing. Tried to learn. I was a new face, so there was a lot of people that walked up to me and tried to learn who I was. Being at a church, you know, where I walked in 2 Sundays after my first Sunday and people already knew my name, I felt at home. So like I grew up in a church that you didn't raise your hands to praise God, like you just stood there and you sang and that was it. So getting to watch people raise their hands and very awestruck that this is how other people do church, I guess I should say. It felt good to know that I can raise my hands and I can praise God and I'm not going to be looked at like the crazy person. I knew that people pray for people. I guess I've never seen anybody anoint somebody with oil, so that was something different here. It was a cool thing because you read about it, but I guess it's just a practice that over time just kind of goes with the wind, just like a lot of things in life. You know, you do certain things for a long, long time, and then it just, a generation lets it go. And GraceWay hasn't let that go. It made me say, oh, that's biblical. It actually made me go home and read the Bible to look for that. I knew it was in there. I'm not a Bible genius by any means, but I know that that's in there, so I had to go look and read it a couple times and just read what it's about again. I would say that the preaching is very similar to what I grew up with, like just a normal, like down to earth. I feel like sometimes preachers can be just a preacher for so long that they actually forget what it's like to, and I don't want to take anything away from them, but sometimes whenever all you do is ministry, you don't get to be in the real world where people struggle with day-to-day problems like, hey, how am I going to pay the bills? Or having people like Pastor Chaz, Pastor Rick that have a day job is cool because you can relate to them a lot easier, I feel like. It's easy to get involved too here. You know, I'm active in the youth group. I help there more as a mentor. I'm an usher. I was asked to be an usher, which is pretty cool because growing up, I feel like as a kid in church, you know, you look at the ushers like, oh, who are those guys type thing. And I've also been part of the security team here. So they want you to be involved here. They don't want somebody to get swept under the rug and forgot about. So with my job, I travel a lot, and there's a lot of Sundays I miss. So it makes it tough sometimes in keeping what I feel like is a strong relationship with the Lord. And I feel like I'm challenged from time to time throughout my life where it's like, where I get a little knock on the back of the door that says, hey man, where you been type thing. And it kind of makes me think about where I've been for the last couple months. Like I realize I haven't been praying in my prayer life like I should be. I haven't been reading my Bible like I should be, you know, and I feel like at GraceWay, there's a lot of churches where whenever you disappear for a few weeks, where have you been? It's, hey man, I'm glad to see you back. What have you been up to? It's a different, it's how you ask a question and it makes somebody like standoffish or want to talk to you about what they're doing in their life. And I feel like I've never once at GraceWay been asked the question of where you been, like, oh man, I obviously they think I'm leaving the church or something. No, they're genuinely concerned, like, hey, what's up, dude? I'm glad to see you. It's been a few weeks. What have you been up to? And I feel like that's every time I do. And then with my job, it's, when's the next time you're rolling out so we can pray for you so that way we know you're safe on the road type thing. There's never a demeaning like, where have you been on a Sunday at GraceWay? Me moving, I'm 1,200 miles from my dad's driveway to where I live now. You know, that's a long drive. That's 17 hours drive, just in case anybody wants to know. I didn't have a blood-related family here, what you would call your normal family. And still to this day, I don't have any blood relatives that live in the state of Louisiana that I know of. But my dad, at the time of this video, I'm hoping about a month to 2 months away from moving here full-time, and will be plugged right into the family here at GraceWay. But knowing that I have family here, it also helps to want to bring my family here, because it is a family. It's truly people that will care about you. It's been almost exactly 1 year since I lost my grandfather, and my dad's dad, and he was very influential on who I am today, for sure. He made sure every Sunday I was in church, and every Sunday after church, normally after lunch, I would call Grandma and I get to talk to Pap. So it's been hard calling Grandma on Sundays because I don't get to hear Pap's voice no more. But I guess January of last year he got sick, and I kind of talked to Pastor Rick and Pastor Chaz about it, because they're two people that I can trust, and obviously they kept me in their prayers and prayed for me, and there was lights at the end of the tunnel a couple of times for Pap. But I went to see him, kind of a overnight deal, left Pastor Chaz and Pastor Rick know that I was leaving, and that we really needed prayer more for closure, because whenever I got there, it didn't take a rocket scientist to look at Pat and say, he's in his final days. So came back, and it was about a month after that visit that he passed on, and I went to his viewing and stuff, and there was flowers there from the church. That shows that people care about somebody that they never met, and they cared enough to send flowers to their funeral just because of me. Once every 2 weeks during the whole time, from the time he was sick and said, hey, my family needs prayers, to the time he died, and even several weeks after, they would just check in. Not even what can I do for you? They just would literally say, I'm praying for you and your family, and that is just enough to know that, hey, it's okay. There's people in this church that are willing to help no matter what the circumstance is. I'm pretty confident that at GraceWay you will be able to find somebody if you need somebody that can listen, can help you. So I've gained friends, not just friends that you call friends, but people that I know that if I'm in trouble at 3 in the morning, I'm gonna call them, and that phone's gonna get picked up, and they're gonna say, where are you and what's wrong? It's a community here. Like, once you come once, you're family.